Kazuya Takahashi is one of Square Enix's most evocative visual minds. You've likely seen his work in Final Fantasy XIV and XVI. He's one of the few character artists whose designs feel alive. Rough brush strokes, layered detail, and immersive world building. His art doesn't just depict characters. It captures their spirit in a museum-level painting. When we break down and analyze Kazuya Takahashi's work, there's something raw and unfiltered about it. His faces aren't idealized, symmetrical mannequins. They're weathered, complex, and human. The eyes often carry a heavy stillness, as if they've seen storms. There's a dark poetry in his expressions. Sadness in the eyelids. Defiance in the jaw. Grief in the brows. It's not performative. It feels real. Technically, his style shares DNA with the Final Fantasy XIV illustration style pioneered by Akihiko Yoshida. Other artists like Yusuke Mogi and Ayumi Namai also excel in this painted brush style. The common elements are an earthy color palette, realistic proportions, and a world-building focused narrative. But Takahashi adds his own subtle, unique touch. His facial ratios stay realistic, with thin, stylized hair chunks highlighted strongly. He often exaggerates the crown of the head, giving his characters a slightly larger skull. A small detail, but distinct. His character anatomy leans closer to real-life proportions, which isn't that common in manga or anime-style designs. The true nature of his style lies in how he handles placement, volume, and color. He uses earthy palettes with bold, toned hues to create strong contrasts that guide the viewer's eye. That said, not every piece hits perfectly. Some of his works can feel visually overwhelming without a clear focal point. But his strongest pieces show nuanced visual storytelling, especially when characters interact. Still, most of his work leans toward poster-like compositions rather than direct story panels. While he's a master of volume painting, he also enjoys line art in his personal work. I love this unfinished style because it sits perfectly between concept art and finished illustration, not fully rendered yet, but brings the essence across. When it comes to character design, Takahashi focuses on the full cast as a whole, rather than emphasizing each character individually. His designs feel like chess pieces on a board, distinct enough to fit their world, but sometimes lacking strong individuality. As a strong contrast to compare, look at Final Fantasy VII, where Tetsuya Nomura's early designs were more experimental and varied, and less world-building and narrative, which he himself admitted in an interview. Both approaches have their strengths and weaknesses, but Takahashi's characters might feel less memorable to some audiences. Of course, Takahashi's skills go beyond characters. His environmental art carries a unique mystique, and his creature designs, especially the Eikons, are excellent. Unfortunately, there aren't many in-depth interviews with him. His social media is pretty quiet, often posting simple updates like, "Received One Piece magazine volume. They said I could draw the novel illustration if I liked it. I drew an illustration of the Vero race. It felt too lonely with just one face close up, so I turned it into a 3-person group." Honestly, if you want to study painting, Takahashi's work is worth a deep dive. His use of silhouette, value, and contrast is excellent. But unless you're a painter or have at least some basic experience in it, his style isn't easy to fully grasp. It's highly layered and requires close observation. Still, he's a goldmine for high-level artistic concepts for any aspiring artist. I'm light novel author GP Vux, and revisiting Kazuya Takahashi's work reminds me how some artists lean more toward world-building art, while others focus on individual character design. I think both are great, and do lean more towards the individual character designs that we all can remember.